Back now at 9:41 with a new book getting candid about aging and the pillars of longevity. It is called The Ageless Revolution, 10 hallmarks of aging that hold the secret to defeating disease, reversing age, looking younger, and living longer. We're happy to welcome author Dr. Michael Aziz. Glad to have you here with us. And who doesn't want to look younger, right?
That's for sure. Thanks so much for having me.
Glad to have you here. You know, in your book, you mentioned that many young people are aging at a much younger age and a much faster rate than those of our parents, our grandparents did. What's the reasoning behind that?
We have an epidemic of age-related diseases in the United States, and it's not only happening in old people, it's also happening in young people. Right now, we have an epidemic of cancer in young women. It's happening at an alarming speed. Since the 1970s, we also have an epidemic of colon cancer in men below the age of 50, and it has to do that we're working against the reasons why our cells deteriorate, the hallmarks of aging that I discuss in the book, The Ageless Revolution.
Interesting. You know, I was actually just having a very similar conversation with some of our folks here on our news team about people being diagnosed with some of these diseases at younger ages. Is it because we are having people get tested for this more frequently, or is it because of what's being put into our bodies or soaked into our bodies? Can you give us some insight into that?
There are a number of reasons why young women have an epidemic of cancer right now in the United States, and it has to do, number one, with the obesity epidemic happening in America. 70% of Americans now are overweight, and the excess fat we have in our body produces a hormone called estrogen, and estrogen causes cancer. The second reason is the pesticides that we're having in our food. It's also causing hormonal imbalance. And of course, we cannot forget that a lot of people fail low-fat diets, so they went on low-carb and keto, which are very, very popular. And people loaded up on protein sources like bacon and sausage. They're full of nitrites. Nitrites damage the DNA and they cause cancer. So it's a variety of reasons why we have this epidemic of cancer in the United States.
Wow. And a lot of that you go into full depth with in your new book. Just came out right recently, I think within the past month.
10 days ago.
Yeah. Congrats. We love that. Something, you know, a lot of people, when we think of aging, we think of that outward aging. But, you know, what would you tell folks about some of the inward aging approaches to keep in mind? Because it's more than just what's on the outside, too, right? We've got to keep the insides healthy, too.
I think the problem is when people, you know, they Google aging, they go look for doctors, they look for dermatologists, then we go for Botox or fillers, but that doesn't affect our cells' age. This book is about cellular aging. It's about reversing your age on the inside and possibly extending our life by 10, 20 years, because we have the lowest lifespan in the Western world. In the United States at age 73 versus Monaco, which is 90, Hong Kong, 88. We're living so many years off the table, and that's not good. And that's why I want to make us not only have a better health span, but also a longer lifespan.
Yeah, and in the book, from what I understand, you dive into the affordability of this, because a lot of people, you know, somebody's trying to sell you the next best thing to reverse aging, but you kind of have this one-stop shop, from what I understand in your book, where you've got information on diets, information on supplements, recipes, all that kind of stuff. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, right now, for you to have a long life in the United States, you got to be not only rich, you got to be super, super rich. And the super rich are able to buy yachts, they're able to buy planes, they're able to buy luxury estates, and they're also able to afford doctors and buy longevity. I want to make anti-aging affordable, doable, and practicable for the average person, the forgotten men and women in this country who have been left behind. And that's why I want it as affordable as possible for everyone, and I try to do my very best in this book.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Dr. Aziz. Glad to have you here on Good Day. Congratulations on the release of your new book as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to see you. All right, Stephen, I'll send it over to you.